Good afternoon or morning, depending on where you're tuning in from, and welcome to today's webinar, Accelerating Your AI Transformation. Before we get started, we're going to talk about the host company of this webinar, which is Resolve Tech Solutions. If you have not heard of Resolve Tech Solutions, we are an award-winning mid-sized consulting IT services and solution firm headquartered in Dallas, Texas, with offices globally. We are a team of 1,000 strong, and we specialize in ERP modernization and have deep expertise, especially in SAP, in application modernization in regards to digital transformation, cloud services that include migration and post-migration management, and why you're all here today, AI and ML. So we will help you enable that within your organization. So Juno Labs is the AI innovation engine of Resolve Tech Solutions. It has already won several awards, such as the Hybrid Intelligent Award from the AI Excellence Committee, which is the business intelligence group. We won that for 2024. We've been featured in several publications as an AI solution to watch out for. And our CEO, Vinod Swami, most recently, as of last week, was named one of the top 25 AI executives for 2024. So a lot of exciting things going on due to Juno Labs, and you're going to get a sneak peek into what that is and how it can help you transform your business. So I found these stats pretty interesting when I was looking at where do we stand in AI in 2024. So 34% of businesses, according to IBM, have actively adopted AI, with another 42% exploring it. I'm assuming most of the people here are exploring it, and that's why you're on the webinar. As you can see, most devices in your Microsoft Outlook or 365 instances, Google Workforce, they're starting to embed AI in some form in our phones and everything we do. So we're starting to see that 77% come to fruition in 2024. But this I found the most interesting. 58% of companies in China have actively deployed AI, while only 25% have in the US. So in the US, we have some work to do, but the good thing is AI exploration is strong, and you taking the initiative to be here is a testament to that. So the future of business is here. And that's why Resolve Tech Solutions has made this AI innovation arm, Juno Labs. And I'm very excited to introduce our esteemed speaker, Abdul Rahman Zafar. He has over 28 years of experience in technology. He has done everything from the data analytics side to creating these robust AI platforms. He is very well versed in solutioning any IT problem that your organization may have. So he has worked with Accenture, and now he is at Resolve Tech Solutions, and we are just so excited to have him and his expertise discuss Juno Labs and how it can help streamline AI in your business. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Abdul to get started.
Thanks for the intro, and thank you everyone for joining our webinar. And this is one of the series of webinars that we're going to conduct, and we'll continue to have follow-on. Happy to engage in more detailed conversations. So let's just go ahead and start with what we have today. So we'll go here, we'll go share our slide deck. So basically, when we look at our analytics strategy, from Resolve Tech standpoint, we're in the business of helping our customers go through a journey, and that journey involves strategy. It involves helping our customers come up with operating model, helping our customers with technology. We have built some of our own tools and technologies that we want to bring to bear. And it's all in the spirit of accelerating your AI. So what that really means is getting alignment to the strategy from the C-suite, making sure that we have measurable outcomes. One of the core reasons why we see a lot of our customers failing or activating AI in a big way across the enterprise is because a lot of our POCs that get started with a lot of fanfare get stuck. They get stuck because we're not able to take those and inject them into business process and activate it in a more meaningful way. we also lack the full understanding of not just building machine learning models, but what does it mean for us to build analytics applications? And that's where we are basically in the spirit of organizing some of the tools and technologies and also some of the thinking behind what we are calling Juno Labs has come forward. So the way we started to look at Juno Labs is how can we activate analytics journey for our customers, and it has to go through end to end. What that means is the pace of innovation has to accelerate. We no longer live in a world where we have months and months and months of ideation and gathering of data, cleanup of data, creating POCs, and then going through the full implementation lifecycle. That full implementation lifecycle I've seen in many ways has gone through months to years. And that's where the appetite begins to lose. The investments that the C-suites has been able to carve out are just not producing the dividends that they're looking for. So what we have done is basically, as we continue to look through the whole landscape, you were like, hey, what if we bring it all together? We bring it all together in a way where we can jumpstart this whole journey end to end. And that's where we came up with the idea of Juno Labs. So Juno Labs is a construct where all the R&D that we are performing on the back end and everything that we have been doing for so many years, we bring it together and expose it to our customers in a more meaningful way. So it's not just us coming in with slideware, but us coming in with solutions, with know-how, with strategy, and recognizing that we don't want to restrict ourselves to any type of tool or technology. We are a mid-sized company. We are SI. We are here to help our customers. We are not here to build products, but we are here to jumpstart our customer journey. So let's go through some of the tenets or building blocks for Juno Labs. And these include Innovate, which is a purpose-built solution which we're going to host on Juno Labs and allow our customers to come in and look through some of the work that we have done across multiple industries, some of the solutions that we have built across our knowledge base, our models, the data sets, and expose them to our partners. So exposing them to partners is not just a nice interface, but what if we take that and allow our customers to take an extension of that, use your own data, and be able to see what it would look like if we are extending an application, full end-to-end application to you. That's where Innovate comes in. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in subsequent slide. And then model mesh, we recognize that an analytics application doesn't have one model. We're going to have multiple models that are going to influence the results from one model to the other. And how do we actually orchestrate it in a way where we have an application in mind rather than piecemealing our analytics or machine learning models? And then generative AI, everybody's got generative AI on their mind. So us being able to showcase some of the capabilities that we built, some of the solutions that we have built around generative AI, and now extending all of our knowledge base in terms of, one of the questions came across was, okay, so vector database, what do I do with this vector database? There's an architecture in place, and this architecture is going to continue to evolve. What we're going to see and what we have seen between last year to today, we have seen a lot of maturity across not just the cloud providers, not just the product vendors, but also from the enterprises itself as well, because everybody wants to know how can we actually utilize generative AI in a more meaningful way, and make sure that it's secure, make sure that we have responsible part of the equation all taken care of. When we talk about security, what that really means is you can easily go to Hugging Face and grab a model, and there are more than 16,000 transformer models on Hugging Face. Last I saw, that's what the number was, and it'll continue to increase. So we're bringing in our own thought leadership into how we can extend generative AI to our customers. And then CloudSense CI is a full-blown end-to-end platform where we're managing large instances for our client base, and there are nuances of CloudSense AI that I'll talk about in more detail in subsequent slides. So it's all about managing, it's all about monitoring, it's all about observability. Um, it's an AI-infused platform that we're utilizing to bring everything together. And then Cloud Automate, it's as simple as, do we have some Terraform scripts that we can use to build our environment? But that it doesn't start there, it doesn't end there, because the way we look at this whole thing end to end is we start with security first architecture in mind and build out from that where we have network level security in place. I have tunneling, we have VPN connectivity, we have ingress and egress defined, having the ability to uh, uh, launch your tools in a more secure way, and then expose them to public domain. How do we actually build all of this end to end? That's where Cloud Automate comes into play. So from here onwards, we'll go into the customer journey approach. On the left, what we see is a lot of issues, right? I mean, if we go through this journey of building out an application, for instance, we get into some challenges. It's not just data challenge, it's skills shortage. It's about, how do we quantify the value that we're trying to get out of this application? How do we scale this application across? I mean, if I have a global organization, how do I actually get this application deployed in multiple geography where we have data residency issues? And then there's also fragmentation within organizations that we continue to see. But what we're doing is basically we're helping our customers come up with a complete vision end to end, capture the business context, go through some design thinking, go through some use case grooming, building out of use cases, and how do we align those use cases to value that we're going to provide, and how does it align? Our solution alignment end to end, because the solution does not live on its own. It's going to live in an ecosystem. And then, as we all know, machine learning model build out for data scientist endpoint is a small subset of the equation. The larger subset is, how do I get my data? How do I actually continue to operate in production? That's where we come in and help our customers with model development and model management and so on. So what you see is when we talk about an end-to-end use case development, it has to start with what we are calling now Juno Innovate. So Juno Innovate, it's a construct around a marketplace of some sorts. A marketplace where you go in, it's a portal. It's a portal where you have data products that are actually exposed to customers. And if our clients want to deploy Innovate within their own enterprise, they can do that as well. With that, you have the ability to now share data, treat your data as data products. The knowledge base continues to stay isolated within a couple of places in the organization. We want to expose that knowledge base to everybody in the enterprise. Having a construct where you have an app store. We have built multiple applications for our customers, and these applications, we want to extend them to our customers. And we feel like within our client base, if they were to have this marketplace type of construct, they should be able to expose applications within the enterprise. So either you take that as a baseline and now you enhance this for a different process, or you're building your own application and you're taking snippets from model library. You're taking the actual code and deploying it across. So you become an organization where you're sharing ideas. So that's where Innovate comes into play. And it doesn't stop there. It also gives you the ability. So we've been infusing a lot of open source into our AI approach. When we talk about open source, there's a lot of fragmentation, and we will continue to see that happen. There are frameworks like Kubeflow and others. There are MLflow, and we're going to see a lot more frameworks that are out there. There are frameworks that are being offered by the cloud providers. SageMaker is a great framework. So what we're doing is basically not restricting ourselves or our customers to any one particular framework. We want this to be an open platform where we bring in all the ideas and we share these ideas. So what this really means is our customers can come in, they'll look at, let's just say there's an application. There's an application for the back office, which is more around log anomaly detection, or we may have applications which is more on the front office side, which is like intelligent field operations. That's another application that we've built, full-blown application from ground up using analytics in mind. Or you may have dynamic pricing or auto underwriting type of applications. So these applications, you should be able to take that application, know everything about that application, create let's say demo credentials. These demo credentials will have its own lifecycle. We have baked all of that into this fund solution. With this lifecycle, you have the ability to bring in your own team. We also recognize that when you go through demos or when you extend any particular application, that application will require a team of people to be able to utilize that, extend it for their own business process, or build your own model. And for that, we have basically what we have done is taken, for instance, Kubeflow, which is a great framework for building machine learning models and building our applications. We have integrated it into our Juno Innovate. So what this really means is we can create namespaces which are isolated. Now we have the ability to launch multiple labs, restrict these labs to the required infrastructure. For instance, number of CPUs, number of GPUs, memory requirements that we can actually allocate to a particular, let's say, project or experiment, and then go from there. That gives us the ability to now have multiple teams come together while they're working on their analytics applications or building their own machine learning models. They're also going through this whole process of ideation. This actually shortens the time to build and to perform a POC significantly. We are used to seeing 8 weeks or more, maybe 12 weeks or 16 weeks of just POC. What if we can reduce that significantly to number of days? Because what we have done is basically taken away all the time required to create infrastructure, isolate, create network domain, onboarding users. There's a lot that happens. That by itself, building out of an infrastructure takes maybe a couple of days to weeks in certain cases. So what we have done is click of a button, with sort of like a shopping cart construct, give you the ability to take an example application, deploy it, and then build a full POC around it, or take a model and deploy it, build a full end-to-end application around it, or just launch a vanilla lab and build your own model from scratch. All of that capability is now available. And along with that, there's monitoring and management and also alerting. So you know how you're tracking to the overall infrastructure spend. You know how you're tracking to the overall end-to-end POC, but it doesn't just end there. Juno Innovate takes that and closes the loop around deploying it at scale. So that's where you have CloudSense AI come into play. So CloudSense AI, it's a platform that allows our customers to manage multiple cloud instances. And within cloud instances, you may have finance have its own, let's say, AWS account. You may have, for instance, marketing, their own Google account. And then you may have multiple accounts from same cloud. How can you actually manage all of this infrastructure in a more meaningful and scalable way? That's where Cloud Sense AI comes into play. It gives you the full control tower capability to manage your vulnerabilities. It gives you full collaboration for the teams to be able to go through and perform triage and to go through and perform, let's say, vulnerabilities management and patching and all that good stuff. It gives you full control over scheduling. We recognize that as we continue to manage our IT, once the models are deployed, once the applications are deployed, once you're running instances on the cloud, we want to be able to manage scheduling for vulnerabilities management as well. So we have ML Fuse application here to help our customers do that. And it just doesn't end there. We also have allowed our customers to get more visibility into their financial spend. So what does that really mean? What that means is, how am I tracking to my let's say overall spend within a certain environment? With the click of a button, I have all of that in front of me. And then not only that, I have recommendation built into this particular solution where you have the ability to track how your spend is. If you were to, and it'll give you recommendations around what if you were to stop these machines? What if you were to move your data to a lower storage? How can you optimize your overall environment? And by the way, a lot of this infrastructure is just sitting idle. It's not being utilized. That type of recommendation goes a long way. And that's where we feel like we have completed the journey end to end. And with that, now let's get back to the ML part of the story. So Cloud Sense AI gives you the full ability to manage your models. What does that really mean? Being able to monitor data drift, being able to now launch a new instance, update your model based on this new data, go through some testing and deploy that model, have the full auditability around it. So we have created the full end-to-end lifecycle approach around machine learning model management and operations. And it just doesn't stop there. We are taking that one step further by looking at anomalies within, let's just say, your infrastructure logs or let's just say, your application logs or database logs, and being able to run correlations around it and being able to predict, given a certain type of a usage for within an application can actually create an outage and then have the automated scalability or notification to the operations where you have the ability to go, okay, so do I need to do something about this? I'm going to see an outage. That's where we want to be. And being able to now converse with your ticketing system like ServiceNow, we have full end-to-end integration along with that, where we are using Gen AI to bring in the log data and to identify and predict outages, but at the same time, give you the full capability to now understand and look at how was something like this resolved in the past? How many tickets were generated? So you have the ability to now go end to end with AI ops. That's where we feel like we have completed the journey around innovation, the POC, all the way to operations. So we have unpacked a lot in last couple of minutes. What I'd really like to do is basically talk through some of the features that we have within these applications. And you can tell by looking at these facts, being able to reduce the overall time to perform or complete your POC and being able to demonstrate the value, it's huge savings. It's huge savings, but also look at the opportunity. Going from a couple of weeks into now days, the enterprises no longer have the appetite to continue to go on and on and on and ideate and go through POCs. What if you were able to reduce it? That's where all of the sources like Gartner and Forbes and McKinsey and IDC, everybody's talking about the same thing. We want to shorten this time. And we want to make sure that we have the right capabilities in place. This is what Innovate will give you. The capability required to perform quick POCs, to go through rapid innovation process. And it's just not it. We all understand that it takes people, process, technology to get things done end to end. Innovate is simply a construct, a tool that will allow you to speed up this process, but we're here to help our customers throughout this journey. And as we go along, Innovation Lab, what does this process look like for our customers? The process starts with, let's just say, discovery, where we have our account team working with our customers, trying to understand where are those challenges? What are those low-hanging fruit that we can actually go target? What does it look like? Where does our customer actually sit within an enterprise in the journey? We can help craft that journey for our customers, and then share our ideas that we have been working through so we can jumpstart this process. We are not coming in and starting from scratch. We're actually jumpstarting our the whole innovation process, and then going through incubation process, going through ideation, and then POC. Once we are done with POC and when we deploy this application at scale, either we hand over to our customers, or our customers, in some cases, our customers are asking us to continue to manage it for them. And then we continue to iterate, go through this iteration cycle, and continue to ramp up. That's what it looks like from Innovation Lab standpoint. Model Mesh is another building block for Juno Labs. We've talked a lot about Innovate. We've talked a lot about CloudSense AI. Model Mesh sits in the middle, where we know this is more of an engineering thought leadership, where we understand and we recognize how do we actually bring all the full application in place. So just to give you an example, we've built this intelligent field operations application. Within intelligent field operations, we have at least 9 to 10 different machine learning models. And these models are actually influencing the way tickets get generated, the way assignments get handed over to the field, the way the field goes in and resolves a particular problem. And this is where we recognize that you're not going to have one model that's going to live on its own. You're not going to have generative AI model, which is also part of intelligent field operations, live on its own. There's going to be recommendations. There's going to be a RAG concept behind it. The vector DB that we're using, either it's Pinecone or anything else. How do we actually bring in knowledge base, which already exists, and craft a more of a summary for the technician to go resolve an issue? That's where it comes in. So that's what Model Mesh gives you. It's how do we bring in speed and reduce cost, and also reduce time when we look at the whole in grand scheme of things. Generative AI, it's a topic that's on everybody's mind. So we are utilizing generative AI in some of the applications that we built. On the back office side, I mentioned CloudSense AI, using generative AI to get more insights from the ticketing and be able to help our operations resolve issues in a more meaningful way. Or generative AI is being utilized in intelligent field operations, where a technician goes in, gets recommendations around, looks at the equipment with the multimodal Gemini model. We're able to identify the equipment. We're able to now converse with our technician around, here are the set of recommendations steps. Use these steps to now resolve your issue. Everything is summarized. We have generative AI along with our RAG architecture, where we're looking at the knowledge base first before we go to public domain and look at release notes or other type of information, and summarize all of the steps for the technician. That actually has helped reduce the overall time spent on a particular ticket significantly. And then generative AI is also all about responsible AI. With EU taking lead in most instances, and as recent as now, releasing how do we actually handle these large language models? What does it mean for us to be looking through responsible AI? How do we make sure that we have the security in place? How do we make sure that we are taking care of bias and privacy and all of that? The techniques that we're going to help our customers utilize to lower the risk exposure. So what does that really mean? In traditional machine learning, there were many use cases where we had PHI or PI type of data. And that was facilitated by using either homomorphic encryption or other encryption techniques. These techniques basically isolated or so the techniques allowed machine learning model to build a model based on real data, while the data scientists had no access to the data. And these techniques will continue to evolve. We're going to see like differential privacy take a lot more center role in generative AI. So these techniques are where we are going to help our customers come in, strategize around how do we take generative AI? What type of model do we need? Either it's 8 billion parameter model, 70 billion parameter model. What type of model do we actually need for our use case? We want to help our customers bring together an application which is fine-tuned, built for purpose, based on the type of technology and based on the type of requirements that we have, and not just go in with large-scale model, because the financials are just not going to support if we continue to not look at the overall technology usage from generative AI or for any use case standpoint. So we're coming in and helping our customers with advisory services or assets and accelerators, the ones that I mentioned earlier, and go through a full proof of concept end to end with an architecture that we have basically gone through the full process of validating and also taking that and helping our customers use that. So just being on-prem doesn't mean we're restricted in any way. Everything that we're talking about from Innovate standpoint, where we can take Innovate and deploy it at our customer side, giving them full capability of managing, building, and sharing ideas and applications and models and knowledge base with the larger audience is where we want to be. We want to democratize this whole process end to end. And then, and that's just one of the building blocks for Juno Labs. CloudSense AI is all about back office type of work where we're bringing in managing and managing your cloud or your on-prem infrastructure at scale, going through making sure that we are compliant, giving the visibility into type of tickets that are being generated, isolating environments and being able to handle and capturing the full CMDB, giving you the ability to write your own Python script and bring in more meaningful data. You should be able to write your own script and say, hey, tell me more about this particular environment and how many keys are being used in this environment. Tell me more about when was the last time a particular key was used. So you can bring that type of data back and continue to put that in your monitoring platform. Having the ability to now predict an outage and then have the ability to go through the healing process, automated, or an intervention that's required. That's where CloudSense actually begins to make more sense. Resolve Tech itself is managing large workloads for one of the biggest SAP customers in the US and across the world. So with over 6,000 instances, we have the ability now to manage our workforce, to patch solutions in a more meaningful way, making sure that there are no conflicts, having the ability to create a workflow based solution where you have pre-patching process, you have during the patch day process, you have post-patching process, and in this whole process, you have the ability to handle outages. We have a CMS within our CloudSense AI that gives you the ability to now look at SOPs if you have to intervene on a certain process, or managing the versioning of your Terraform scripts or your Ansible scripts, even your models, right? And then I spoke about the machine learning that we're using for financial management, or the machine learning that we're using for AI operations. It's a full-blown AI first application for managing your workloads on the back end. And then automate, obviously automate. We have to be able to build new environments, and the environments built out for either it's going from development into QA, into, let's just say we want to now scale this application to a more production-like, pre-prod-like, being able to build all of this end-to-end in a more automated fashion, either it's on AWS or Azure or GCP. We have the script built out for that. We have best practices security built into this, these scripts that we can activate to deploy either your SAP instances or any particular type of application. And we can build these scripts for you and help you with this whole DevOps of DevSecOps cycle. A lot of learning has gone through in us building out these complex environments, and we're ready to share these with our customers. I think that's the last tenant that we have from Juno Labs. From here, I think we wrap up, and we may have some questions here too.
The questions came at the beginning, which is different. Usually it comes towards the end, but you did great covering those. And want to thank everyone for your participation. We will be doing subsequent webinars that dive deeper into the tenants and actually showcase the tenants. So we'll take you into the application of Juno Innovate, Cloud Sense AI, and Abdul alluded to our intelligent field operations. That series will actually be next. So if you're in the utility business, telco, insurance, just a few examples, you won't want to miss that. So please follow our LinkedIn page to learn more about upcoming webinars. Feel free to connect with myself or Abdul on LinkedIn. And thank you for being here. There will be a post-webinar survey, and we appreciate your time this afternoon.